Hello, welcome to news on NTA International. I'm Nancy Goody. On sign language is Shegun Ajayi. First, the headlines. INEC presents certificates of return to senators-elect. Court of Appeal to rule on INEC's application to reconfigure BVAS machines for governorship elections. Plus, federal government restates commitment to peace building and national unity. We begin from diplomatic relations. Issues relating to Nigeria and the state of Qatar doing a lot more together towards enhancing economic cooperation as well as investment opportunities of mutual benefits came to the fore on the margins of the UN Conference on Least Developed Countries in Doha. This was a high-level engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari and Sheikh Hamad bin Mohammed Al Thani, former Emir of the state of Qatar, father of the reigning monarch. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
The meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and Sheikh Hamad Al Thani was a follow-up to the high-level talks held during the president's visit to Qatar in 2016, as well as the Qatari monarch's reciprocal visit to Nigeria in 2019. Already signed to deepen relations between the two countries were two agreements on the avoidance of double taxation and the prevention of fiscal evasion with respect to tax income, as well as that of bilateral air services aimed at standardizing the mode of aviation business and increasing flight frequencies and destinations. This meeting with the father of the reigning monarch, described as an architect of the state's modern revival, who ruled Qatar between 1995 to 2013, is an opportunity for President Muhammadu Buhari to seek ways of deepening, expanding and sustaining the highly beneficial relations between the two countries even after his tenure.
Qatar is a very promising country with lots of resources in terms of oil and gas, and of course they have been now at the center of the world, attracting all kinds of businesses and activities towards their country. They just hosted the World Cup 2022 and so on, so they're coming increasingly and very aggressive in bilateral relationships and diplomatic relationships. So in furtherance of all of that, there have been a long-standing relationship between Nigeria and Qatar, but more importantly also between the president himself and the dynasty here. I remember when we came in 2016, President Muhammadu Buhari paid a visit here, where there were talks about investments in agriculture, in oil and gas, in education, in healthcare. And I think that has been going on the roadmap. So I think this will further, the takeaway here is that the visit has further strengthened the relationship.
Qatari companies are major partners in the oil and gas business, particularly in the areas of gas development. We're partnering with them on many platforms, and we believe that this visit will continue to support us in solidifying those relationships.
In what areas?
In development of gas, which is a major focus of our country, and we're leveraging on the relationship to do this.
We have very excellent relationship between Nigeria and state of Qatar, and we are working on various agreements that facilitate the Nigerian and the Qataris to work together and to have more investment in Nigeria.
What do you have to see as a result of this visit by the president?
Yeah, it's a higher level visit, and we are looking forward for a state visit also where the various agreements are going to be signed.
President Muhammadu Buhari also granted audience to his counterpart from Guinea-Bissau and chairman of ECOWAS, Umaru Sissoco Embalo. Details of their discussions held behind closed doors were not disclosed. From Doha, State of Qatar, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, as he prepares to leave office upon the conclusion of his two-term tenure, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, says it has made arrangements to honor President Muhammadu Buhari with an award in recognition of his achievements in the defense and promotion of democracy as a system of government throughout the sub-region. The ECOWAS chairman, Guinea-Bissau's Umaru Sissoco Embalo, made the disclosure at a bilateral meeting with the president on the sidelines of the ongoing 5th United Nations Conference on Least Developed Countries in Doha, Qatar. President Embalo said President Muhammadu Buhari had made more than any other to support democratic governments in West Africa, just as he had done exceptionally well, waging battles against the emergence of non-democratic regimes. Syrian International Airport in the northern Syrian city of Aleppo out of service after it was hit by an Israeli airstrike. And Burkina Faso has introduced curfew throughout its northern region and 2 other provinces to combat jihadist attacks in the Sahel region. Charles Alpha has more.
All flights have been rerouted to other airports in the war-torn country following the strike. An unnamed military official said Israeli warplanes fired missiles that hit Aleppo International Airport while flying over the Mediterranean Sea. It said the strike caused material damage to the airport, grounding all passengers on Tuesday. There was no comment from Israeli officials, and it was not immediately clear if there were any casualties. Since the February 6 earthquake that hit Turkey and Syria, killing more than 50,000 people, including 60 in Syria, scores of flights carrying aid from different countries have landed at the Aleppo airport. In other news, at least 15 people have been killed in Indonesia landslide with dozens missing. Reports from the International Disaster Mitigation Agency showed landslide cascading through forested areas and dumping moss and debris on houses on the remote Sirisan Island. Bits of metal from turn-off roof and fallen trees were also visible following the disaster. The location of the landslide and continued rain were complicating search and rescue efforts, report says, while communication had also been cut off. In Africa, as part of the fight against terrorism, a curfew from 1 p.m. to 5 a.m. has been introduced throughout the region from Friday 3rd of March to Friday 31st March, said the Secretary General of the Governorate of the Northern Region, Kaoliga Albert Zango. During this period, the movement of people, 4- and 2-wheeled vehicles, tricycles and bicycles, he said, is formally prohibited, urging people to strictly respect this decision by staying at home at the time and dates indicated. Zango said the measure is aimed at facilitating the action of the armed forces in this border region of Mali. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
The European Union is working with key stakeholders to improve on the impact of the various anti-corruption laws in the country, with emphasis on strengthening the inputs of civil society organizations. At an evaluation workshop in Abuja on the rule of law and anti-corruption program, ROLAC, the European Union stressed the importance of reforms in the justice system, ensuring women, children and people with disabilities have access to justice, improving the performance of the various anti-corruption agencies and greater involvement of civil society organizations to give human face to the fight against corruption in Nigeria.
Despite the difficult context, the rollout program has recorded high-quality results based on a context-specific mechanism that bridges the gap between the justice and anti-corruption sectors in the 5 focal states of Adamawa, Lagos, Anambra, Edo, Kano, and the FCT.
The federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Justice, is committed to the reformation of the criminal justice system, access to justice and anti-corruption reforms through the effective implementation of the innovative provisions of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, AJA, 2015.
The evaluation workshop is a periodic event designed to strengthen inputs of stakeholders. Senators-elect for the February 25th, 2023 National Assembly election have been presented with certificates of return by INEC. Mia Ogidi reports.
Pre-election anxiety gives way to post-election celebration. Returning senators congratulating themselves for a victorious contest, while first-timers admitted with warm handshake by their ranking colleagues. On geopolitical basis, the senators-elect filed past, receiving their certificates of return with great promises.
And to reassure you of better assembly, better legislation, new idea, new bills and law to protect the life and property of our own people, to check the executive arms of government for checks and balances.
The 9th Senate, we try to change the time frame of the budgetary period, and that can only be achieved if there's a harmonious relationship between the executive and the legislative arm.
Infrastructure for the masses. We have some infrastructure for the elites and the areas where everybody sees, but where the bulk of Abuja people live, there's a lot to be done. So those are the things that I'm coming with.
For 2.5 hours that the program lasted, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu was just looking on, no speech from him. Wednesday, 8th of March 2023 is the turn for members-elect of the House of Representatives for their certificates of return. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja will this Wednesday consider the merits of the application of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, seeking the order of the court to reconfigure the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS. The Labour Party and its candidate Peter Obi have filed a fresh application to be allowed to conduct a physical inspection of all the BVAS that was used for the presidential poll. INEC is in the appellate court to seek its order to reconfigure its BVAS in readiness for the conduct of the governorship and House of Assembly elections. Meanwhile, Nigeria's president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu is seeking an order from the Court of Appeal to access sensitive materials used by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for the conduct of the presidential election. Tinubu, candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, was declared the winner of the poll ahead of Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party and Peter Obi, candidate of the Labour Party. The president-elect, through his counsel, Akintola Makinde, said he would need to inspect, scan and make photocopies of some of the electoral materials to enable his defense legal team to prepare its defense. Now, supporters of the All Progressives Congress, APC, have commended the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for conducting what they described as transparent presidential election that produced Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president-elect. In view of this, a solidarity rally in defense of the nation's democracy has held in Abuja. Salihu Gwanara reports.
Save Our Democracy Group is on the streets of Abuja in support of the process and mandate given to Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress as the president-elect. The group, through their messages, preach peace, love for democracy, and support to a peaceful civil transition.
INEC, under the leadership of Professor Mahmoud, has given us a credible election in the history of this country. We are here to further consolidate and defend the mandate freely given to Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu.
While they come to INEC to say that elections are not credible, their members are in INEC receiving certificate of return, both from members of House of Reps and Senate. Today, they are receiving certificate of return from the same INEC that they are saying the election is not credible.
There's no ringing in this election. What of Lagos? If they are complaining, if we have any chance to ring, we could have ring Lagos. So that is his Jagaban place. He does not complain, he does not fight anybody.
Deputy Director Security Services at INEC headquarters, Ndidi Okafo, received the group on behalf of the commission.
I want to thank you on behalf of the commission and to say that we will convey your message to the appropriate quarters.
Members have been encouraged to be peaceful in their conduct as the nation prepares for governorship and state assembly elections. They, however, urged those who are aggrieved with the outcome of the presidential election to follow the rule of law and avoid conduct contrary to public peace. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
This is news on NTA International. We take a break. Thanks for staying with us on the news. The 2023 National Assembly elections produced different shades of surprises, from increased turnover to the expansion of party composition. But the All Progressives Congress, APC, was undeterred as it retains majority status. Ignatius Nkwo takes a look at the composition of the 10th Senate.
On the 11th of June 2023, the 9th Senate is expected to pack its bag and move into the annals of history. Already, the election of 25th February 2023 has produced the next occupants of the Red Chamber. Going into the 2023 elections, the All Progressives Congress, which has been in the majority since 2015, lost some of its members and closed its balance sheet at 62 members. But in the result, released so far by the Independent National Electoral Commission, the All Progressives Congress still holds the majority seat at 57, a reduction of their numbers in the 9th Senate by 5. PDP, the largest of the opposition parties, reduced from 39 to 29. Labour Party increased from only 1 member to 6, while the NNPP has 2, losing one of its seats. Social Democratic Party, 2 members, ABGA and YPP retained their 1-member status. Parliamentary resolutions are reached through voting. Therefore, numerical strength remains a factor. With the spread of membership in the Senate, it is expected that the election of presiding officers in the 10th Senate will witness serious horse trading and bargaining.
There are likely going to be also coalition of these new political parties to align with one of the major political parties in the legislature.
High turnover has continued in the National Assembly. For instance, out of the 109 senators in the 9th Assembly, only 30 will be returning, with 3 women against 6 in the 9th Senate. Out of the 5 principal officers on this majority seat, only 1 will be returning here in the next 3 months. Same with the minority seat, only the deputy minority leader will be returning.
So when we have new members, it means the system, the quality of output will be lower. And it means we don't get better. So that means representation will suffer.
Some former governors that will not be returning include Theodore Oji of Abia State, Umaru Tanko Almakura, Nasarawa, Rochas Okorocha Imo, Ibikunle Amosun Ogun, Gabriel Suswam Benue, and Sam Egu of Ebonyi State. The statistics of the 10th Senate will be devoid of the usual high number of immediate past governors, as most of them lost their bid. They include Samuel Otom of Benue, Ifeanyi Ugwanyo of Enugu, Ben Ayade, Cross River, Simon Lalong Plateau, Deros Ishaku of Taraba, Okezie Bazu Abia, and Abubakar Bagudu of Kebbi State, while Dave Umahi of Ebonyi, Sani Bello, Niger, and the immediate past governor of Edo State, Adams Oshomole, all of the APC won their election into the Senate.
So many states had issues. States that were able to do meaningful reconciliation, the sitting governors were able to win the election.
As at now, elections into 11 seats are still inconclusive. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The National Working Committee, NWC, of Labour Party has dissolved the Rivers State Executive Council of the party with immediate effect for gross anti-party activities and corruption in the management of party funds. The NWC, rising from an emergency meeting in Abuja, believes that it is in the interest of the party and the obedient movement in Rivers State that those who were at the helm of affairs in the state should step aside until full investigation on what happened during the presidential election is completed. A statement issued by the national chairman says the party has lost confidence in the ability of the compromised State Executive Council led by Mr. Denye Pepple to lead the campaign for the gubernatorial and State House of Assembly elections come March 11. And turning to issues of population. Okay, we take the story on SGF. The commitment of Nigerians to peace building and national unity is as important as the quest for responsive leadership in the country. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Boss Mustafa, announced this position when a delegation of the Methodist Church of Nigeria visited his office, and Mitai Reimen was there. He said that Permanent Secretary General Services Office represented the SGF.
In its 180 years of existence, the Methodist Church of Nigeria now has a prelate of northern extraction for the first time. His Eminence Oliver Ali Abba, prelate of the Methodist Church of Nigeria, is at the presidency with elders of the Christian denomination to sue for peaceful coexistence among Nigerians during and after the general elections.
If we have to be deliberate on how what they call attitudinal change, I think the country will live a better life so that we have something to pass on to generations yet unborn.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, here represented by the Permanent Secretary General Services, Nnamdi Mberi, thanked the Methodist Church for its intercession for the nation and its role in boosting education, moral reorientation, and the hospitality industry in the country.
I'm happy that as a religious body, you not only preach salvation, but you also want to empower people education-wise, and that is quite commendable.
The message here for Nigerians is to sustain active participation in the general election. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps Dauda Biu wants officers of the Corps to be resilient and maintain high level of neutrality and the forthcoming governorship and State House of Assembly elections. The Corps Marshal was speaking during review of the Corps performance at the recently concluded presidential and National Assembly elections across the country. Oyeyemi Ajayi was there.
The February 25, 2023 Presidential and National Assembly elections was a litmus test for not only the election management body, but also security and paramilitary agencies as well. For the Federal Road Safety Corps, the election was a good outing with commendable performance by men of the Corps, with the display of professionalism, doggedness and neutrality throughout the exercise.
I want to charge you here, the officers and the men, to go out this weekend and also perform incredibly well like the last election. You should be focused, do your work diligently. Once again, don't take side with any political party, don't work for any political party or for any politician.
The personnel of the Corps now have to go on better in the March 11 governorship and state houses of assembly elections. And the secret, the Corps Marshal says, is to effectively cooperate with other security agencies. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
And on to gender matters, President Muhammadu Buhari joins Nigerian women in celebrating the International Women's Day, observed on March 8, recognizing the invaluable role women have played in advancing the progress of the country since independence. The president salutes the hard work and dedication of Nigerian women working tirelessly and achieving results in different fields of endeavor. From those sacrificing daily in the markets and farms to train the next generation of leaders, to those breaking limits in education, sports, medical field, arts, entertainment, and even in politics, where they are still largely underrepresented. The president is proud to have worked and associated with some of Nigeria's brightest women in his cabinet, government, and international community. He thanks the Amazons who have served meritoriously as partners in the progress witnessed on the political, economic, and social fronts. Also, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the newly appointed Director and Head of Secretariat of the Intergovernmental Group of 24, G24, Dr. Iyabo Masha. In a letter signed by him, President Buhari noted that by the appointment, Dr. Masha has made history, becoming the first African to hold the position since the organization was founded in 1971. The president enjoined Dr. Masha to use the position to champion the course of developing countries, especially on the key economic challenges of economic diversification, debt resolution, tax policy, and financial sector development. And next is weather prospect. And with the weather report, we conclude the news. Do remember to connect with the NTA and the campaign against rape and rapists. On behalf of Segun Ajayi, who's been on sign language, I'm Nancy Godiangunihu, thanking you for staying tuned.